and gentlemen, ALTBAYS Table Talk is live with the legends Rick Steele, Luke Steele, Stewart Pedley, and Leo Magri. Here we go. 2024, baby.
Yeah, well, my baby left me and my mule got lame. I lost my money in a poker game. Wind started blowing just the other day, and I took my hanging away. I got trouble. Yeah, I got trouble. I got so much trouble, I'm about to lose my mind. Well, I started drinking whiskey, wine, and gin late last week and last night again. And then the sheriff, he comes inside and walked to my house, caught me shooting the dice. That's trouble. That's T-R-U-B-B-L-E, spells trouble. Yeah, lose my mind. Hey, what do you reckon? Am we going all right so far or what? I got so much trouble, I'm in Fitty City. Yeah. Well, upon myself, I pawn my chain. Pawn myself, but I'm so ashamed. Got me a job, only city paid, and late in the morning, let me off same day. That's trouble. Yes, sir, that's trouble. I got so much trouble, I'm about to lose my mind. And the house, and the car, and the CD, and the DVD, and the washing machine, and the Encyclopedia Britannica. But baby, don't take the dog. Leave me the dog.
Gotta take that dog.
Are we on? Are we on?
We are on, all right, man. Wow. Beautiful. Thanks for that.
You're on.
You're on, man.
Okay, yeah. I'm breathing.
Oh, man. Thanks so much for doing this, guys. What a pleasure.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
It's a pleasure to be wherever we are.
Well, what was the thing at home, Luke, with Dad jamming when you guys were little? Like, were you already jamming with him, or there was that thing of being away from what your parents do? And
we actually had a pretty good story here, which it all actually started here in the Coromandel. One summer, it was New Year's Eve, right?
I think it was Christmas Eve. Anyway, it was either Christmas or New Year.
I was in Panui. I was on this big skate ramp trying to show off to some girls, you know, going up the ramp, kind of doing my best moves. And Papa Rick had just cracked his first tinny. He was over at Cook's Beach. Anyway, I kind of fell from the top of this half pipe and broke my arm. It was about 5 o'clock at night. I had to get my cousin Nick to drive me to Thames and go. So anyway, the rest of the whole summer holiday, I was in this cast. Everyone else was jet skiing and, you know, wakeboarding and everything. And I was just sitting on the balcony, just going, what a loser. So that's where it all began for me. And Papa Rick said, I'll show you some chords. And through the cast, I could just sort of strum a little bit.
wow.
I think I was about 13. And yeah, that's where it all began. And
Who would have thought, say, a broken arm?
yeah. So yeah, it's quite amazing being back here, where it all began. And
we started, my cousin's living over here, you know, and all the cuzzy bros would put in money to get me and my family over, like Luke and his elder brother and the other things from Perth. They'd all throw in money to get us here. So, you know, it was a good family get-together.
Yes.
Cool.
What about for you, Rick? When did you start playing? Were mom and dad musicians as well?
Well, my dad was a preacher and my mother used to do the choir. And I was telling someone the other day, I always enjoyed singing. My dad was up there singing, you know, the preacher, he'd sing along, and I kind of liked some of the songs anyway. So that was about it. And then my brother, my older brother, he's 4 years older than me, he came home with a guitar one day and sort of started, we had a guy in the church, he started learning, and then I thought it was a pretty good idea, so I got one as well. But yeah, I was probably 10 or 11, because I remember my mother wouldn't buy me a guitar. She was a piano teacher. She said, I'm not buying you a guitar. You'll end up like that dreadful Elvis Presley. That was because this is 1955 or something like this. And I remember I bought my sister one for the money, two for the show. What's that song? That was her Christmas present.
Shoes.
Yeah,
yes.
That was her Christmas present one year, you know. But we only played it when my mother was out. We couldn't play it while she was out.
Wow.
Blah blah blah. And then I went to boarding school, and I saved up and bought my own guitar. I mowed lawns on one of those push mowers.
Wow, yeah. Without
A push mower, yeah.
Yeah, wow, working for it.
And bought my first guitar, and I went to boarding school, and then the Beetles came along in 1961 or whatever it was, and the rest is history. Wow. Is that enough?
Yeah, it's good to get this stories to see where it comes from.
Yeah, that rock and roll beginning. Yeah.
And the blues and the rock, like, was it something that you were already into it? Like, was it automatic for you?
Well, that time before the Beatles came, it was. I remember we learnt Blowing in the Wind. Dylan was just coming. We're talking probably 62, 63, something like that, or it might have been. So we were more folkies because of the church connection, you know. We weren't really into electric. Hadn't started. I came through the Lonnie Donegan. I don't know whether you heard him. And my old man's a dustman, and and the Howard Morrison Quartet brought out the my old man's an All Black.
Yeah,
and so I was telling someone the other night we entered this competition. We were at Clark's Beach in those days over in the Manukau. And it was run by another church, and we won first prize, and we won a pot plant, first prize, and a Bible. There were three of us in the group. We had to share a pot plant and a Bible between the three of us. Anyway, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't. It's too strange.
Which one bore more fruit?
Well, there you go.
Man, and then you there's a beautiful piece, the Audio Culture, the New Zealand page. Such a beautiful story about your journey with music. So complete, at least from the reader's perspective, obviously.
Yeah. Well, again, I'd probably go back to the church and say that when I was young, and that my mother would say, people would come to the church, she'd say, now go and introduce yourself. There's a new family in town. Go and meet them. They've got a 10-year-old boy like you. Go and say hello and tell them who you are. So I wasn't naturally an extrovert. In fact, I'm still not an extrovert, but it gave you a sort of a sense of confidence to be able to do that. So I was able to be an entertainer, be able to get on the stage and to talk to people. And I remember like in those years going around hospitals, through the church. The church had a lot of influence really in my life, I reckon.
Well, sorry, what kind of church?
We were C of E, mate. Church of England, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't like the Catholics.
Hey, I was an altar boy.
Well,
Believe it or not.
Well, I got kicked out of the choir when I was at boarding school because we were supposed to go and sing in a Catholic church. That's how it was.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to sing in a bloody Catholic church, So me and my mate Johnny Batar, I said, Dr. No was on at the movies.
Great, wow.
It was St Patrick's Cathedral in Auckland City, and I don't know what the theatre was called, the Region or something was around the corner. I said, look, if the choir wing and there, we could go to the movies and get back just in time to get on the bus again. Oh, she'll be apples. Anyway, of course, we were found out and 6 with the cane and gated.
Wow.
Gated means I wasn't allowed out of the school yet to stay there at the boarding school. My brother had tickets to the Beatles. That's the biggest sob story of my life.
Wow.
So I toyed with it. I thought, I'll go to the Beatles and bugger it, but I would have been expelled then, and that would have been shame upon the family. The preacher's son was expelled, so I didn't get to see the Beatles.
Wow.
That's a sad story. You got your tissues out of you?
Oh man.
Wow.
Would you guys go and watch Dad performing?
Yeah.
Was it a thing?
Well, he's basically run the Perth Blues Club for, 30 years now?
32 years, isn't it?
So, yeah, I kind of grew up in, well, not just the Perth Blues Club, but beer gardens and pubs and wherever he was playing. And
You're a pretty good roadie too, you know.
Yeah.
Help me carry the speaker boxes in.
But, you know, as a kid, that's great. You get a can of soft drink and chips and get to listen to the blues. And and as I know, me and you, Stewart, talked about that. I always found it as great knowledge, you know, talking to the old blues guys and hearing their stories. And
I was always fascinated helping my dad carry his drums to these clubs, and I was just, you know, I was just always intrigued by them setting up the band gear, and there's like so much sort of electricity in the air about this performance, and also a lot of ritual about those places that's kind of lost now. Though a lot of them are clubs that had etiquette that, you know, sort of gone out the window now. But, you know, he's like, whatever you do, don't watch people playing snooker and stuff. You know, you don't watch other people. As a kid, you know, like sitting there drinking a can of Coke and watching people. Yeah.
Did you end up following any religious or anything like that when you were young? Like, were you guys going to?
Not young, but then a bit later, about 20, I think it was, after I thought that I could do it all on my own, and then the whole world came crashing down, and then that's when I got taken to the church, you know. So that was good, but lucky for that, you know, because could have been a bit of disaster if not, you know, in the music industry, you know, being, you know, it's kind of like the devil's playground, really.
Yeah.
And you still have some faith, Luke. How is it?
Yeah. I'm not an angel, but I do my best. You know?
Oh, yeah, man. Cool. Do you guys get to go to churches too, or it's more a thing like for yourself?
Yeah,
and you do it?
yeah. Not during the pandemic, you know, because we were in Northern California, and now we're sort of still a bit like world citizens traveling around. But for the last 12 years, we'd go to a church in Santa Monica called Hope United, which was run by Barry Crocker Jr. You ever heard of Barry Crocker, the Australian entertainer?
I know the name. I wouldn't know anything about
the
Barry.
famous movie, The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie.
Right.
If they don't know Barry Crocker, well,
Yeah.
It was
leave
Barry
that one
Crocker
there.
Jr., so
We'll put a link in there.
Yeah, we can have a look.
yeah.
Sorry, I just want to check. Taylor, are you asking me about? There's something with the song. Do you think it's the harmonic or something?
It is something with the
microphone. It could be the harmonica around. Rick, could I just ask you to to keep the harmonica at the tip, because we're just listening to something getting on the phone.
It's not yours. It's this one.
I think it's Rick's.
No.
We just want to make sure that we get the best sound.
the guitar, maybe it's a strap on the guitar or something.
Oh, is it like a powered guitar or something? Or no, it's not. And doesn't have a battery in it, eh? It's just something very mild at the background that Taylor is looking for, and he was wondering if it was the...
I think it could be the strap or something. I've been moving around a bit.
But no.
It's electric.
But it's fine. We'll make it work.
Part of the charm, Taylor.
It's part of the charm.
Part of the charm.
It's part of the challenge.
Yeah.
Do you like the routine and the ritual of church and mass? Like, growing up Catholic, I'd love just the ritual and the routine and the song. No. Shaking no. I love the hymns and everyone.
I like the opposite. I like the thing that the Church of England didn't have too much.
Yeah.
It was pretty simple and to the point, and get down on your knees a couple of times and sorry God, I didn't mean to be a man.
Like a good old Baptist church, you know, where it's ready for God to move, and it can kind of. I love that in church sometimes when it's, you know, the Holy Spirit's moving, and it just, you know, people can just, you know, fall into that, and that's a lot of the time real saving happens, you know, it feels.
Yeah.
Should we go for one more tune before we chat a little bit more, now that we are all warmed up?
Well, I don't know. We're not doing anything religious, are we? What keys this? What did you want to do, Clyde or something like that?
Yeah.
So I supported him in New York, but this one we did in a big thing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. That's a good segue.
Nice.
Sin City.
There we are.
Woo! Let's go.
So yeah, okay. Yeah, this is called Clyde. It's about this bloke sitting on the back porch, having a coldie, and the wife's in the background saying, "Why aren't you mowing the lawn? There must be something you should be doing instead of sitting on your ass doing nothing." Well, Clyde plays electric bass. Plays it with finesse and grace. Sit on the porch without no shoes, picking his bass, singing the blues. Mary Lou, well, she love a dollar. Down the road you can hear a holler. Get up, Clyde, got something to do. Well, that old dog can sing the blues. Yes, sir. He don't move, he don't flinch. Clyde, he don't move an inch. Sit on the porch without no shoes, picking his bass and singing the blues. Yes, sir. Thunderous applause.
Yeah.
So he introduced me. He came out all like, it's a 5,000 seater, but there's 1,000 people there. I'm going on at 7:30. I'm the opening act. So he comes out all dressed up, no crown, but gold and stuff. And all the girls in the front row all start screaming and going, "What's going on? The Emperor's here." So he opens his mouth and he says, "Oh, we found this guy out in the alley out there." And we thought he said he could play, so we thought we'd give him a go. And all these people are all looking at me and looking at him.
Great.
So then he says, "No, it's my papa from Australia." And all the girls scream again. So
Yeah, you got some fans there.
so it was a good introduction. So then I'd do 3 or 4 songs, and then I'd say, "There's a bloke out the back reckons he can play. I'm going to get him on so he can have a go." And then he'd come out and we'd do 4 songs together.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a good little act, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good little tour. We did Vegas, Reno.
I remember
Then
Reno.
we went down to Arizona. Yeah, we've done that a few times. The other time was with my other band, Sleepy Jackson, when we did New York and LA. And Papa Rick came over and did the support for that.
That's awesome.
New York was a Bowery Ballroom. There were about 2,000 people, all industry people. I was up all night trying to work out how am I going to start this thing. I'm going to go out by myself cold, basically, and start this bloody show. So I thought about it all night. So when I walked out in front of 2,000 people, I said, "G'day, I'm from down under. Actually, I'm from down under. I'm a Kiwi." And then I went into the song, and it worked. But you got to be able to go on there and say something confidently and get off to a start. That's what you got to get off to a good start, son.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll eat you for breakfast. And then I had this woman follow me around, nice looking blonde thing, follow me around. I don't know. You always ask, what do you do? What do you do, love? She was an intern to Hillary Clinton.
Wow.
It was like a reverse cycle thing, like. Oh, dear. Anyway, that's the end. That's the end of the story.
Rick, I saw
Wasn't that funny?
Oh, that's great.
I think you've read something extra into that.
Yeah, maybe I have.
I read something that there was one of your songs that the governments came after you.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, gosh, that was Arthur Allen Thomas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Arthur Allen Thomas was accused of,
He used to live in Coromandel, yeah?
yeah, for a while.
yeah.
But originally it was Pukekohe, and he was accused of doing a double murder, and he did 9 years.
Wow.
And I came over again. When I was here in the 70s, I think. I was here for 4 years, and I read all these stories and things, and I thought he was innocent. So I wrote this song called "The Ballad of Arthur Allen Thomas," and in it I mentioned the cop's name, and at the end I said, "The man's been framed. Arthur Allen's not to blame. The man's been framed," and that's going against the law of the land. That's a form of treason or whatever. They got all upset about it, so they said that the record must be returned and it must be destroyed. I mean, it was overreaction. I mean, come on. But yeah, I got on the national news and that, your song's wasn't just banned, it had to be recalled and destroyed because it was. Wow. Then we re-recorded it, and left out the offending words, but they let him out then. Piggy Muldoon was in there, and he got a full pardon. But they've never proved who actually did it.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting story. They made a book about it.
Yeah.
Right. And they made a film about it. It was called Beyond Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
But my song couldn't get in because it was too controversial. But yeah, no, I'd forgotten about that.
My dad always had a beer with him up in Coromandel every New Year's. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I never met him, but there was a plan. I did Sweetwaters, which was a big. That was 1980, I think.
Wow.
I did the first one, and I had a manager guy. We were going to get Arthur Allen. This was before it got banned. And we were going to fly him in because Elvis Costello was the head. And they had a helicopter pad right next door, and they were going to fly Arthur Allen in. Then I was going to get him up on the stage and hold up his hand. The man is free.
Wow.
And it got too complicated.
Wow.
So that went down the tubes.
Wow.
Along with my career. No, well, I'd been here 4 years by then when my wife was getting homesick and he was just born. Anyway, that's enough of that story. Next.
Wow, man. So many stories, man. You guys. So many adventures.
Yeah. There's so many. He was telling me yesterday about having a gig in, was it Kalgoorlie, and then the next next couple of days it was in Port Hedland. So it was, what did you work out? It was over 1,000
miles. So 1,500 kilometres to go from one gig to the next. There's four of us. I wrote a song about that. Do you want to hear a bit of a song?
Would love it.
It's too early for a song.
It's never early for a song,
Well,
man.
when I introduced the song, I still do this in the band and that because it's a bit of fun, but it's called The Nullo Dust is Dirty. And the Nullo is actually nowhere near it. So when I introduce the song, I say, this song is geographically incorrect. And it also has drug references. If you've got your kiddies here, there's drug references, It mentions have a joint or something, I wrote this after we went 1,500 kilometres with, I always say, 4 hygienically challenged musicians in the bloody car with a trailer.
Wow.
Well, the Nullarbor dust is dirty, like some people in rock and roll. We were making our way to Port Hedland just to find ourselves some rock and roll another joint. Keep the rock and roll show on the road. If I don't come on with some money, my woman, she's gonna see it all wrong. Yes, sir. Well, I was standing in the corner, holding up the bar. This woman, she comes on up to me. She says, I want to take you home and rock and roll you all night long. Oh, I want to rock and roll you all night long. Yes, I am. But if I don't come home with some money and my pants up, you know, my woman, she's gonna see it all wrong. I'll be out in the street, yes, man. The Nullo board dust is dirty like some people in rock and roll. We were making our way to Kalgoorlie just to find ourselves some rock. Roll another truck. Just keep the rock and roll show on the road. My oh my. Yeah, well, if I don't come home with a future and money and my pants up, you know, my woman gonna see it all wrong, and I'll be out in the street. A Nullo dust is dirty. That's D-I-R-I-T-E-Y spells dirty. Yes, sir. It's the cops. Pull over, please. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
Now, I had Valiant. We used to drive Valiant. Well, that's right. Valiants were cheap to buy, but they were good, strong donkey.
Solids.
You could put, you could go anywhere in them, which is what you need. Dirty roads.
Dirty roads. Do you have clear memories of dads being on the road and then you becoming someone from the industry as well, always on the roads like that? That was...
Yeah. Ours wasn't a Valiant, it was probably a splitter van. I remember we were talking about that yesterday. When Sleepy Jackson, my first band, went big in America, we did twice around the country. And, you know, one of those splitter vans where I don't even think you get a headrest.
Right.
Yeah. But that was, that was a long journey. That's for sure. I think it was, it probably wasn't 1,500 kilometres, but the furthest gig, but yeah, it was close, I think. A few of them.
Wow.
That's the thing, the distances, in Western Australia especially.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't have to do that. There are towns in between, but, I mean, the next time I went to Port Hedland, we did about 5 towns in between. It just depended on how long you had to get there, you know.
Yes.
But it's still, you know, the first decent gig out of Perth is 400 kilometres. It's 575 to Kalgoorlie from Perth. It's like a 6-hour trip, nearly 7 hours. Anyway, it's all good, clean fun.
Yes.
Okay.
And then coming back to New Zealand, tiny, doesn't take much to be in places.
But you've got the windy roads here.
That's right.
We had the new bridge wasn't open when I came down just before Christmas, so we had to go the Whangamata and Waihi and all around there, which is good because I hadn't been there for a while, you know. So I didn't mind it, but obviously for Whitianga, over the last 12 months, it's been pretty hard for all the commercial people and that. So I understand, you know, it's been pretty tough.
Yeah.
But it's picking up now.
Yes.
A few people down the beach this morning, let me tell you.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing my walk. When you get to my age, you got to become a fitness fanatic again.
What about the writing, the composition process?
Yeah, well, I'm writing the greatest country hit song ever written at the moment. I don't write very often, but I'll give you just a preview. It's called "I Got a Guts Ache in My Heart Over You." That's the.
That's how it starts.
Oh, man, I love it.
I got a guts ache in my heart over you.
That's good, man.
Sounds like a smash to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's the hook right there. That's good.
Well, that's right. So Actually, I think I've just about finished, actually.
Man.
Before I go, I might be able to. I'll send you a little copy of it.
Oh, please do that.
man.
We'll do a rough. I can do a rough demo before we go.
Yeah.
Because I've finished another verse yesterday. Yeah, no, I don't write very often, but just every now and then, and it's things that are things that will affect you, I guess.
Yeah.
I've always. I mean, the songs. You know, when I left New Zealand, I think I had a repertoire of 400 songs or something.
Wow.
So over the years, you know, it's been a lot of songs gone through, but the ones that I learn them because I like them. You know, I don't learn them. I never learned "Achy Bakey Heart." You know, you didn't learn that one, did you?
No. Only in church.
I did make a living for a while, and back in the '70s in Perth, singing Neil Diamond songs. But I mean, he had some good songs.
Yeah.
And I could, my voice at that time was I could do Neil Diamond pretty good,
Yeah.
and they were pretty easy to play. I mean,
I did a 2.5 hour Neil Diamond set once.
oh, right.
Can I tell you this quick story about
Yeah.
my dad loves Neil Diamond, and Neil Diamond was coming to New Zealand. It was quite a few years ago. I was living in Wellington, and my sister and my dad's birthday was also coming up. We called him and said, "Don't get tickets to Neil Diamond. Just we'll take care of that, right?" But my sister and I were both close. We tried to get online and book tickets, and it sold out. So we were both working at the time, so we had only small windows of. He could have jumped online immediately and got tickets, but don't get them, Dad. Anyway, we felt pretty bad about it, so we got all our musician friends together in secret and rehearsed for 2 months, 2.5 hours worth of Neil Diamond songs. And then my dad thought he was going to a barbecue at my brother's house in Palmerston North, and we'd hired like a stage and smoke machines and PA system and sequins and things. Anyway, he walks around the back and we rip into Crackling Rosie, and yeah, I really enjoyed learning the songs. I'd never want to play them again, but it was a masterclass in a pop hit, you know. Yeah.
Oh, he was very popular in Australia. I mean, it was That Hot August Night was the biggest selling album in Australia for quite a while.
Yeah.
So you know, I was going pretty good there with doing that. You know, and then I was starting to write more of my own songs, and you know the bubble burst. We got replaced by the disco, if I remember rightly. Because that happened to me when I was in New Zealand, 1977. That was when Saturday Night Fever came out. And New Zealand had all these bars, which I was touring around, you know, around Saturday Night Fever came out, and the Lion Brewery started putting in those plastic floors with lights underneath them.
Yeah.
Everyone was doing the John Travolta thing, you know.
Yeah.
So then I got onto the circuit doing solo, which was I was blessed like that, you know. I could, when we were talking about the church and my personality, that I could do that. It's called the Lion Brewery Circuit. We're talking 1978 or something, and so the band sort of went off the road, and I went out solo, and that was all right. Get more trouble by yourself, but anyway, Neil Diamond led one to buying a harmonica. I was playing in this concert hall tavern, in the Perth Concert Hall Tavern, and the usherette came to me one night because I used to wear white flares. Were in fashion, and well, I was wearing them anyway. I don't know whether they were in fashion.
It felt like they were in fashion.
And platform shoes, and you know the shirt with the frilly bits and everything. This barmaid came up to me and said, "You should come upstairs and see some real music." So I said, "Oh, okay." So she took me up, and it was Sonny, Terry, and Brownie McGhee.
Wow!
I'd never seen the blues like that before, and that really changed my life in a way.
Wow!
So I went and bought a harmonica the next day, and it was a long weekend, and I forgot to buy a holder. And I got it home, and I thought, "Oh, this is it." So I got a coat hanger and a piece of gaffer, and wrapped it around the edge of it. And by Monday, I could play a blues song.
Wow!
Very badly, but
Yeah. Wow!
yeah.
Wow.
Getting to meet a star, someone that you appreciate, or you didn't even know, you just
Yeah, I
got to
didn't
know
meet
how
them or
big
anything.
you-
I just went up the back. Yeah, she took me up the back, and I just sat and watched them and their communication, and you know, like I just enjoyed it. And I wouldn't say the simplicity of it, but yeah, in a way, after you know, like I just thought, no, I wouldn't mind buying a mouth organ, so I did.
Yeah.
There's something about those old blues songs that are stripped back. It's just the song, you know. There's no disco bass line, you know, funky hi hat. It's just two, you know, a person or two.
It's a bit like country in a way. That's to the point, you know. It'll tell the story, and you can sort of there's no frills.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's what I liked about it. I
It's
think.
solid from the ground on.
Yeah.
You played with a lot of interesting people, Luke, along your career. Were there some OGs that you were like, oh, okay, this is a special people that you met, or musicians that you always admired? And
Lindsey
then,
Buckingham was probably probably at the top, because he's always been pretty much one of my favorite guitarists, and just incredible songwriter, and we just you know, I've always done that. I've said to my manager, reach out to Carole King or Lindsey Buckingham, and emailed, and Lindsay said, I love what you do. I'm in town, let's get in the studio. So it was quite, you know, perfect timing and favour, but we struck
Were
up.
you singing with him? What was your...
Yeah, so we our studio was in downtown LA, and he just said, I'll come down, and with the Empire it's quite weird. We sort of we get something going on the drum machine and then start jamming, and he was quite fascinated by that. We all just, you know, jam for 4 or 5 hours, and then we carve songs out of that, and so we got a few songs out of that.
Wow.
We did one called To Her Door, where Lindsay sings on that. It was on the Two Vines record, I think. Yeah.
Wow. He's got a phenomenal voice as well. His register is insane. Wow.
Incredible, and the picking. you know, I think that's, I always loved that really fast.
Yeah, he could play. He could do a solo while he's still holding down the rhythm of.
What's he like as a bloke? Is he just is he just casual?
Yeah, it's super laid back, and kind of. It's always amazing, you know. Usually the best guys are the most chilled, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was going to meet him that night when we were in LA, and then something came up, and he couldn't come. You rang him and you said, "Oh, that's a shame, he's not coming." And I went, "Who's not coming?" And you said, "Oh, Lindsey Buckingham." I went, "Oh, bugger, I was going to meet him too."
Next time.
next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just done that solo record a few years ago, and I think there's another one he's working on. But I fell in love with his record Out of the Cradle, and I just kept asking him, you know, techniques of that record, and so that was got some great inside goss about how ways he'd use the tape machine and different, you know, picking styles.
Yeah.
Won't give too much away, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I guess that's a special thing to connect with people that you admire, because you get the opportunity to talk, and then you learn their ways of doing things, right? How their creative process is and how they do things, because we see the work when it's finished and we have no clue, like how did that happen? You know, what was that? So
it's quite amazing, because he plays it with no pedals. I think it's just a delay pedal. It's quite amazing. How good those guys are, you know.
No pedals. How
Nothing.
many pedals do you use, Stewie?
I don't use any, man.
I used to.
What's that?
I used to.
Yeah.
That's good. I've got a guy in my band who he's got a fairly big pedal board. But I won't say anything, you might see this.
Yeah.
But what's that one for? Does that make coffee or something?
Mine's a pencil sharpener.
Do you have a formation, like a band set up that is your favorite one for the style of music that you play, Rick?
Well, I've sort of got 3 or 4 guys that I yeah, we sort of work and we do this festival every year. But these days, I don't go chasing too much work, and everybody's in 3 or 4 outfits. I play in a duo one night, and I play solo another night, and then a different duo another night, and the band comes together when we want it to. When I get back Australia Day, it's January the 26th, and we're going to do one together, you know. So but yeah, no, I've been a couple of guys I've been working with for 30 years. Am I making funny noises again?
Little bit. Well, Taylor is wondering if it's your
This thing.
bracelet. Yeah.
I'll take that off. This is it.
Oh, we'll have a test. Can I hold this?
That's
Because it's picking up in your microphone.
that's
It might be your
Oh, and look at this, by the way.
yeah.
Lest we forget,
Yeah.
you have a beautiful clip on YouTube that Stu got to see as well, right? About was it
Yeah, the
Anzac?
Anzac.
Yeah.
The
well,
Anzac.
I just
I'm
put it
sort of
here.
been working with went to March the 1st. And my birthday was March the 2nd, so I went, yippee! I'm not going anyway.
Wow.
But yeah, no, those guys. I mean, my best friend basically is a Vietnam veteran, and so we hang out, and like so we do these shows for Legacy every year, and I wrote that Anzac song when that was quite interesting because in the blues club we have international acts over. You know, like before the pandemic, we had Johnny Johnson, piano player from. He came. I've got a great photo of Johnny and me with his arm around me, and he was just a beautiful man. You know, this one was a guy called Corey Harris, and he came over with a guy called Henry Butler. He's a blind keyboard player from New Orleans. So it was Henry Butler and Corey Harris, and I used to take them out to see things. You know, we'll go and look at kangaroos today, and then we go up to Kings Park. You know, Kings Park. And I went up to Kings Park with Corey Harris, and there's these trees that were planted when they, in memory of the guys that died, you know. And it's got a little plaque under the Here lies somebody, age 22, died, you know, in Gallipoli or whatever it was. And we were standing there looking at it, and he got quite emotional, and I sort of did as well. And I thought, I might try and write an Anzac song, you know. So it's more of an anthem, really, but... Yeah, I went home, and that's what, when I write a song, I kind of get a bit emotionally moved and think, you know,
Yeah.
let's have a go at this.
Do they tend to come out fast in that regard? If yeah.
Sometimes things.
Yeah.
do.
Or the guts. You got the guts of it. You got the
Yeah.
idea, and then it's the.
Well, the thing is,
details.
the Anzac thing is pretty tricky because it's an anthem, so every word is important.
Yeah.
You know, like you haven't got too many to play with.
Yeah.
When the sun goes down and the darkness brings the closing of the day, light your light of remembrance so that others will surely know the way. We will remember you. We will remember you.
Yeah. It's a beautiful tune.
Ay, ay, ay. I can't stop saying it.
Yeah.
The other thing I've got into lately is saying crikey.
Crikey dick.
Well, we just say crikey. That's
crikey, yeah.
That was that guy, the crocodile hunter.
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah, crikey.
he
yeah.
used to say it all the time. Yeah.
Do you need a half Brazilian, half Kiwi duo play at your club at any time? Is that a kind of
play a
band?
couple of blues? I always stipulate is that you must have some blues content in it.
Yeah, we are.
We got it all, man.
Yeah.
We're ready to rock.
Ah, good. Yeah,
Just trying to wheel and deal
I
here.
know, right?
Yeah, gotta. You know.
well, it's Perth is. We're considered the biggest blues club in Australia now.
Wow.
I mean, we only average about 130 people, but it's on a Tuesday night,
Yeah.
and it's consistent.
Yeah.
It's been going for 30 years, and
Wow.
it's great production. You know, we have good production, lights, and he came. Who did you see that night? Can you remember? I mean, he used to come and play there in the olden days, but
That's where I cut my teeth, you know.
yeah,
There's probably a few more people there back
there's
in
probably
the
a
day.
bit of footage with you playing. You know, he'd get up.
Yeah, he'd have the
With
big
Morgan.
band and then he'd yell out,
Wow.
"My son's out there. Get up here." Kick the guitarist off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I saw Luke. I thought maybe you guys had another tune there.
Yeah, I was about to say the same.
Yeah.
A tune.
Yeah, you
What
want
are
to
we
bring
going to do
home
this
with
time?
them?
What do you think? Are we
You
talking
want to do
blues?
Waikato? You want to...
Oh yeah, Waikato. That's all right. So Waikato is a bit of a pinch from J.J. Cale.
Mm-hmm.
He had a song called Mexico, bringing it back from Mexico. Well, back in the 70s, when the Hot Biscuit Band was formed in Auckland, in Mount Eden, we had a bass player who was practicing his horticultural skills on an island in the middle of the Waikato River. So when I say practicing his horticultural skills, he was growing things that we enjoyed partaking in once it was dried and rolled up.
Who doesn't love some oregano on their pizza?
Well, rehearsals are always fun. We can never remember what we did, but we had a lot of fun.
Laughed a lot.
So, anyway, one day we were all sitting waiting for him. Where's the Colonel? Oh, he's just coming back from Hamilton. He should have the product. He should be arriving any minute. He walked in the door with an empty paper bag, and I went, "What's going on here?" I tell this in Australia. I tell this story. I said, "Well," he said, "the bloody possums got on the island and they ate out the crop." So in Australia, I always stress that the Australian possums got onto the Kiwi Island. They were Australian possums. This is called bringing it back from Waikato.
Yeah.
Well, 30 days have September. In a jailhouse, I remember. Well, I got caught a Coromandel gold, bringing it back from the Waikato. Bringing it back from the Waikato. Well, it satisfies all the pretty people. And better tip you off to where the place is. Bring it on like I told. Bring it back from the Waikato. Guitar solo. Well, across the border's where you get it. And when it's good old. Bringing it back from the Waikato.
Yeah.
Buy the paper bag full.
Great, man. The stories in those
Poor old
songs.
J.J. Cale, he doesn't get any royalties for that.
The storytelling,
Yeah.
it's such a powerful thing for that style of music. There's so much there.
Well, it helps the song go along, I guess. It's funny, it's all... I don't have to make them up, they're all true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the funny part about it. But I mean, it's it's been a few years under the belt, so you'd be pretty poor if you didn't have any stories.
Yeah.
It's a matter of remembering them, but it's funny what triggers them, eh?
Yeah.
You forget about things for a while, and then something triggers it, and you think, oh, I can't remember that. I guess I'm the same as, I mean, there's been a few years under the belt, so you'd be pretty poor if you didn't have any stories. It's a matter of remembering them, but it's funny what triggers them, eh? You forget about things for a while, and then something triggers it, and you think, oh, I can't remember that. I guess I'm the same as most other old farts, you know.
Mm.
Just getting through. And it's good to be still above ground and breathing. That's what I reckon.
Right.
Yeah.
You're wearing a cool T-shirt that says
mate.
Coramando Songwriting Camp.
It's pretty flash, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty flashy. What was that look? Tell me more.
That was a camp that we held here in Whitianga. Just me and my wife had this kind of, I guess it was an urge to do something with the youth, you know, with something that we know something about. So yeah, we got a grant from I think it was Music New Zealand recorded, and yeah, it was a week camp. Had some of my producer friends. We had Cos, who's in producer in Canada, did Dua Lipa. We had Chris Stevens in Nashville. My old record company boss, John O'Donnell, who told some funny stories about how they nearly dropped me and how I got signed and all those kind of things. But yeah, it was great. They came on and we did, how many songs? We did over 50 songs with the kids. I did a concert on the Friday night. And yeah, I think everyone learned a lot, including myself. We had Stu there as well as a teacher. So
The quality, that Friday night concert, man, the quality, you wouldn't think some of those songs were written in an hour or two. You know,
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal.
yeah, it was quite amazing to see what the youth can do, you know.
Yeah, for a moment in the world where there's so much conversation around the importance of the art, some
Yeah.
governments choose to reduce the amount of hours and art subjects that the kids are exposed to. You know, like how do you see that's the importance of putting opportunities like that to the kids? That's a big one.
Ooh, so important, you know, because you had an advantage but a disadvantage being in a smaller town. You know, I think the advantage is there's a lot more clarity and you're not kind of you know, cluttered with the distortion of a big city. But the disadvantage is there is less opportunities, and you gotta build your vision big to kind of, you know, see the rest of the world and see what's out there, which can be hard for some. So yeah, we try to do that, bring in these, you know, guys that have done big records, done big songs, and get their knowledge from other parts of the world, from Nashville, the crazy scene of writing scene there, or LA, and New York and all that. So I think it was good, you know,
Nice.
hearing feedback from the kids, you know, a couple of months later, and yeah.
From the places you've been to, you visited a few countries out there. Were there things that you've seen that really struck your attention, like the way that people approach the arts, or just different vibes in different places that really caught your attention?
Yeah, well, I think it's so different everywhere, you know, like in Nashville, the songwriting process is so, you know, it's so formulaic. You know, they go in and they sit down together kind of like this, and it's usually no more than 3 hours. And they go to another session. It's quite snappy. It's what's the message. Where a place like Sweden, you know, they probably spend that amount of time on the melody and really honing, you know, the feeling, the melody, or the impact it will have on you. So it's, you know, they've probably had that in their culture, more melodic kind of structures. And then Australia, you know.
Rock and roll, mate.
That's the case of EB and just going crazy, you know. So
In Brazil, people are
Yeah.
banging on stuff, and it's just about the rhythm.
yeah, so it's so different everywhere, and that's what's
Yeah.
kind of beautiful about the world, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get to do some traveling as well, Rick? Did you go to a few places around it? Was that a thing for you?
It not really. We had 4 kids in the family, so there was a bit of bringing up to be there. I got offered to do a tour of Canada, you know, but the tours like that were 3 months. You know, you had Loudon and Wainwright the third. Well, I was going to be the support act, but it was going to go across Canada. That was one thing, and I got a couple of bites in America, but. Yeah, no, once we got into Perth and we got 4 kids and things, it was kind of like, and I started the blues club, so I knew I had to keep busy,
Yeah.
and the blues club kept me definitely busy. I mean, we have a committee, we have people running it, but then I met this guy from Singapore, and I got a trip to Singapore. I did a festival over there for 3,000 or 4,000 people, you know, and that was good. And then I took a bloke to New Zealand. He was, I don't know, come in. That was Arnie, you know.
Yeah.
And we ended up, when my mother died slowly, it took a while, and I used to visit in the hospital, and I took one of her books, and it was about Whangaroa, up the far north. And this Swiss guy had a Swiss friend there in Whangaroa. And I said, well, that's where I want to go. Why don't you come with me? So we went there together. And when we got back to Perth, he said, well, I've got to go to Switzerland next year. Why don't you come over and meet my family in Switzerland? I said, well, that's never going to happen. I haven't got any money. I haven't got enough money to go to Switzerland. And then this Singapore guy came in and said, look, I'll give you a free trip to Singapore. You know, we'll fly you over there, do a couple of concerts, and we'll give you $1,000. And I thought, well, Singapore, I'm free to there, and then I've got $1,000. I'll come to Switzerland. So I arrived in Switzerland with about $300. And I said to Arnie, you're going to have to find me a gig, you know, otherwise I'm going to be bludgeoning off you the whole time. So we went round these bars, and we found this little bar about as big as this with leather furniture and, you know, like bluesy things in the corner. See, that's another story on its own. But yeah, and I did an audition, and the guy hired me on the night. He said, yeah, start tonight. And I said, oh. But I ended up making a couple of $grand, you know, and playing in the Swiss bar. So I've been to Switzerland 3 times. So I went back, you know, and Switzerland treated me good. So I've been to Singapore and Switzerland, and then he started with his American hijinks, and so I started in New York, and then my other son was living in Nevada. She said, I watched this movie last night. It was going through Nevada. I was looking at the towns. I think, I've been there. Oh, cool. And, I didn't do much playing in Nevada, except when we went to Vegas. But, and I did a few trips to America and Washington, stood outside the White House. Yep. I've been lucky, mate. I've been blessed.
Nice.
And every year we come back to New Zealand.
And your daughter's still active as well in the music scene? Doing her thing?
Yeah. She's just done a new album, and she's just done a tour. Touring is so different now, you know, especially after the pandemic and that. So she went to Melbourne. Australia's so big as well. So you'd fly over and do Melbourne and Victoria, whatever, and fly back to Perth, and then she went to Queensland. But yeah, she's just done a national tour, and she's on all right. It's the same thing. It's pretty tricky selling things now. People don't buy CDs. It's all bloody Spotify and everything else. So, and it's getting very competitive again now with overseas acts coming to Australia. You know, Taylor Swift has sold more tickets than any other person in the history of mankind, you know. I'm going to be a Swiftie. I don't do any of her songs, but she doesn't do any of mine either. But, so that's all hotting up again, you know, like this things. But no, she's doing well, and she's got sort of just picked up this gig where she can. We have one of the best music sort of schools. It's called WAPA, WA Performing Arts, and it's got a world reputation now. She's got a job there doing a little songwriting course and that, which will pay her. So, you know, because in Perth it's a bit difficult for her in a way, you know. I mean, it's the scene again is pretty reduced from what it used to be, and you go around circles. Otherwise, you're faced with what I did, you know, which was tour the state, which means, well, you don't do that anymore either, really. You're lucky with the mining camps; they'll fly you in. Katie's more likely to get that, where they'll fly her and the band into a mining town. I mean, the money that comes out of those mines, and I mean, Western Australia's got. You read up on it; it's pretty unbelievable, and the iron ore. You know, we're talking millions of tons and things, and it's not that it filters down to us blokes, but it's a good place to be. I don't regret going there. especially when I've got the opportunity to come home, you know, once a year. It's like the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm knocking out the furniture.
There goes the combi.
Sorry, Taylor, I'm
Goes.
knocking things around. Chapping the table and things.
Yeah.
Must be pretty special for you, man, to have your kids successful, doing music, doing what they love.
Yeah, well, something, you know, like we talk about blessings. And, I mean, my wife especially tried to encourage everyone not to go into the music industry. Don't follow your father. You've seen what it's done to your father. Drinks too much beer. You know? Always broke. Driving old cars. We never had a new car or anything. Remember that Datsun we used to all go around?
Oh, and the fan belt would go. I remember going to shows, and you'd try and be cool leaving, and then the fan belt would do that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, we done all right. It was good. Yeah. So,
3 chords and the truth.
did I answer your question?
You did, man. You did for sure.
I'm smiling and waving.
Nice. Should we rock one more tune? Should we go
Well,
for
yeah.
one more? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Beautiful.
as I say in Australia, I'm starting to get thirsty.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. What do you think? You got anything in mind you want to
What
do?
are you doing?
Sometimes when I finish the show, I do going up the country and I tell people about out the back of Taihape. And someone asked me if venison was on the menu somewhere the other night, and I said I had venison once. We were out somewhere at the back of Taihape, and there was a venison hanging on a deer hanging on the tree, and we cut it off and then we cooked it. You know, we just cut off a slab and chucked it on the bloody wood stove, and I felt like Robin Hood there for a while.
Yeah.
What about blues, or what about
You want to do that? Going up the country?
going up the country?
Or funky? Or...
Funky is a good one. This is the one I opened with New York when I did that line about.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
When I did that line, I'm from down under, down under. I'm from down under, I'm from down under, down under. I'm a Kiwi. And then I went into this song, which is a half pinch and half. It's mostly pinch. All right, you do the intro. Or... Well, I was born in New Zealand over 70 years ago, under the sign of the fish. I don't waste my time on foolish chatter. All I want to do, y'all, is just try and matter. Well, you may not like my looks, and you may not like my style, but there ain't a thing I can do about it. It's fine with me a while. There's something funky going on. There's something funky going on. Well, I was raised in the suburbs on the right side of the tracks. Second son of a preacher man. Oh, and people brag at my brothers and my sisters. They'd shake their heads when they looked at me. They'd say, how'd you get like that? Well, I don't know myself, and I ain't gonna worry about it. Just got my bottle of booze, can't live without it. Ah, something funky going on. Play that funky music, white boy. Well, you may not like my looks, and you may not like my style, but there ain't a thing I can do about it. It's fine with me a while. There's something funky going on. There's something crazy going on. So many crazies on my TV. So many crazies run around in our society. many crazies in running around in our society.
Yeah,
Isn't
man.
that the truth?
Yeah.
Frightening.
Funky. Thank you so much, guys. Wow, what a pleasure.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here and getting to know you a little bit.
Thank you so
I
much.
didn't talk too much, did I?
Man.
I get accused of that. My wife says,
You're here to talk, my friend, and to play music. Thank you so much for sharing some stories with us. What a pleasure.
thank you very much for having us. What do you reckon, pal?
Yeah, well done.
So
Still got it.
Yeah, so what do we have lined up? What's cooking, Rick?
Oh,
what
well,
are the next?
I'm playing down the Monkey House again.
Yeah.
Mate, what a little treasure that is, isn't
Yeah.
it? Trick or treat. Yeah, no, we did one last week, and you know about that.
I know.
Yeah.
So we're doing it again, and I'm going to do a song with his. There's going to be three of us on stage together. His son as well, Cruz, is going to get up.
Cool,
We're
yeah.
gonna- and his daughter again, and then
Yeah.
we'll
Oh,
do
we've
the
got
thing.
Stu. Stu's going to do a few songs as
You
well.
coming in too?
Yeah, I'm gonna play a couple
Oh,
of tunes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
playing
yeah.
some drums as well.
Yeah, we'll be on the drums,
Well, we'll
man.
pick out a few, but yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, it's, he said, oh, we found this place called the Monkey House, and I went down there, and I thought, oh, yeah. Somebody said it was a fish factory before. They used to clean fish guts out of there. And you walk in the door and you think, holy crap, this is what a neat little venue.
Yeah,
So it makes you feel good straight
Yeah,
away. And
yeah.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And the lighting was great, and the sound was excellent. And
Yeah.
yeah, I had a ball. I just felt like this, just
Yeah.
nice and relaxed. And
Yeah.
let's have a bit of a party.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do it again next Monday, the 8th.
Eighth. Yeah.
And you're going to play drums with us.
I'll be on the drums for sure. What a privilege. Thank you so much.
privilege.
Yeah.
Oh, come
It's
on.
our privilege, mate.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
You're a professional.
Yeah.
Well, banging on things, like just trying to have some rhythm. Thank you. That'll be fun. Yeah. So for the people watching us, the 8th Monday at the Monkey House. Yeah, that'll be fun. What's happening, Luke?
Awesome.
Anything cooking, man? Anything on the back end? What's happening?
That's the big event really at the moment, right?
There you go.
Down there and then.
Just taking it easy.
yeah,
Summer.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hanging out.
Stu,
Jamming.
got something to share with the crew before we wrap up?
Man, I'm really looking forward to playing at the Monkey House on the 8th.
Yeah.
We've got you and I, we've got a couple of things coming up, but yeah, and just always working on the craft of writing music and performing, man.
Yeah.
It's a good time to chill as well. Summer's a good time to kick back. And
Remember we did a gig in Smitty's one year?
Thank you, guys.
It was a long time ago, eh?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, the Monkey House has got it beat. It's Flash as.
Yeah.
There you go.
Flash is Michael Jackson, mate.
There you go. Off we go. Monday.
Great.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much. So just a couple of things before we wrap it up. Thank you so much for Cooked Coromando for sending us some kai. Beautiful. If you're coming to the Coromando, make sure to check them out. Epic Mexican food. And for the people watching us, we have this beautiful collection of Coromind magazines. So the Flock Media Group puts the Corominds every month. This one is our latest issue. Mr. Michael Smither, one of the biggest New Zealand living artists. We have the pleasure to have him on the cover. So you will find Coromind in all the main establishments in the Coromando. And if you are not around but you still want to read it, you can go on corominds.nz. We have an audio version and an online version. If you are a smart business and you're keen to support the mag and put an ad there, we would appreciate that too. On the 6th, we have the Coro Classic. So if you are coming to Coromando on the weekends, you're going to come to the Monkey House on the 8th, and you're also going to come to the Coro Classic on Saturday, the 6th. Finally, we're going to take our crew there. We're going to have some artists painting some beautiful murals. So Matarangi, there's still some tickets left, so make sure to get it on the Coro Classic. All the social medias and all the stuff has the information. And is that us, Taylor? All the messages, all good? Thanks so much, team.
Yeah.
Let's have another jam.
Beautiful.
Choo-choo, Kakite.